Welcome to World Code Updates, your daily dose of what is happening around the world. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Tonight, the South China Sea is a flashpoint of global tension. A dramatic collision between a Chinese Coast Guard vessel and a Philippine patrol ship near the disputed Panatag Shoal has sent shockwaves across the region. The waters here are among the most contested on the planet, and this incident has pushed tensions to a dangerous new level. The United States has responded swiftly. Two American warships, the USS Ronald Reagan and USS Arleigh Burke, are now patrolling these volatile waters. Their mission to ensure freedom of navigation and signal unwavering support for the Philippines. The arrival of these warships has dramatically raised the stakes. The collision began with an aggressive maneuver by a Chinese vessel, resulting in chaos and missing Chinese personnel. A massive search and rescue operation is now underway, crowding the disputed waters with even more ships. With powerful navies operating in close proximity, the risk of miscalculation is higher than ever. This is more than a maritime incident. It's a geopolitical chess match. The Philippines, China, and the United States are all defending their interests, bringing long-simmering disputes to a boiling point. As Chinese and American forces converge, the world watches and waits. Will diplomacy de-escalate this crisis, or is this the prelude to a much larger conflict? The stability of the entire Indo-Pacific region hangs in the balance. Every move is being scrutinized, and the margin for error is razor-thin. The world holds its breath as the standoff intensifies. The collision was the result of a dangerous high-speed chase. The Philippine vessel BRP Suluan, on routine patrol, was aggressively pursued by the much larger Chinese Coast Guard ship CCG-5305. Ignoring international protocols, the Chinese vessel closed in, mirroring every evasive maneuver by the Suluan. The chase escalated until the Chinese ship cut directly across the bow of the Philippine vessel. A reckless move that violated maritime rules. The inevitable happened. A collision that damaged the Suluan's hull and threw several Chinese crew members overboard. What began as a sovereignty dispute turned into a life-or-death emergency. The Philippine crew managed to maintain control and immediately reported the incident, calling it a blatant act of aggression. The Chinese actions are now under intense international scrutiny. The collision has set the stage for a major diplomatic fallout. The risks of China's assertive tactics in these disputed waters are now on full display. The world is watching how both sides respond to this flashpoint. The incident has become a symbol of the broader struggle for control in the South China Sea. Tensions are at a breaking point, and the consequences could be far-reaching. The stakes have never been higher for all involved. After the collision, the crisis shifted to a desperate search and rescue. China announced several of its personnel were missing, launching a massive operation with over 50 vessels converging on Panatag Shoal. The search effort doubled as a show of force, effectively creating a blockade and asserting China's control. The Philippine Coast Guard offered assistance, but their help was ignored. The exclusion zone around the shoal has grown tighter, making it nearly impossible for others to approach. The search for missing crew has become a symbol of China's overwhelming presence. Filipino fishing boats and other vessels are now shut out of their own waters. The human cost of these geopolitical contests is mounting. While nations argue, it's the sailors and Coast Guard members who face the immediate danger. The flotilla of ships is a stark reminder of China's determination to dominate the South China Sea. Tensions are rising, and the risk of further incidents grows with every passing hour. The world is witnessing a dangerous escalation in real time. The crisis is far from over. The U.S. responded to the crisis with decisive force. The USS Ronald Reagan and USS Arleigh Burke steamed into the South China Sea, their presence a clear signal to Beijing. Officially, their mission is a freedom of navigation operation. But the timing leaves no doubt. This is a show of American resolve. The carrier strike group's arrival changes the crisis dynamic, introducing a powerful third force into the standoff. The American ships maintain a careful distance from the Chinese flotilla, but every move is closely monitored. The risk of a close encounter or miscalculation is dangerously high. For the U.S., this is about defending allies and upholding international law. For China, it's a direct challenge to its claims. The South China Sea is now the stage for a high-stakes confrontation between two global powers. The world watches to see how China will respond to this formidable American presence. The margin for error is shrinking. The next move could determine the fate of the region. As warships maneuver, a diplomatic battle rages. The U.S. insists its ships are operating lawfully in international waters, citing the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. China claims the American vessels have illegally entered its territory and says it has expelled them, a claim the U.S. denies. At the heart of the conflict are clashing interpretations of maritime law. Most of the world rejects China's sweeping 9-line claim, which was invalidated by an international tribunal in 2016. China ignores the ruling, insisting foreign military vessels need its permission to enter these waters. Both sides believe they are in the right, fueling a dangerous standoff. The legal and diplomatic clash is as perilous as the naval one. With powerful militaries operating under different rules, the risk of escalation is ever present. The war of words could easily turn into something far more serious. The world is left hoping for restraint. The BRP Suluan, damaged but afloat, began a tense journey home, shadowed by Chinese maritime militia vessels. The Philippine crew used tactical maneuvers and local knowledge to evade their pursuers, demonstrating remarkable skill and resilience. Their successful escape was a rare victory in a sea dominated by larger forces. But the tension wasn't limited to the water. Overhead, a Philippine surveillance plane monitoring the crisis was intercepted by a Chinese J-15 fighter jet. The Chinese jet flew dangerously close, forcing the Philippine pilot to take evasive action. This aerial confrontation marked a serious escalation, with both sides risking catastrophe. Aggressive interceptions like this are meant to intimidate, but they also raise the risk of disaster. The region is now volatile on every front, sea and sky. Each incident adds fuel to the fire. The crisis is spiraling and the potential for miscalculation grows. The world is watching, hoping to avoid the worst. China's control of Panatag Shoal is the result of a long-term strategy. Since 2012, Beijing has maintained a constant presence, creating a de facto exclusion zone and blocking Filipino fishermen from their traditional grounds. Aggressive tactics, water cannons, ramming, intimidation are routine. The latest incident has only reinforced China's grip, turning a persistent blockade into an iron wall of ships. The Philippines is now unable to monitor or assert its rights in the area. China is using the crisis to further solidify its control and demonstrate its maritime power. The shoal's strategic location makes it a potential military staging ground, deepening the stakes. China's actions are a direct challenge to Philippine sovereignty and freedom of the seas. The world's condemnation has done little to slow Beijing's advance. The collision is just the latest consequence of this aggressive strategy. Experts warn the South China Sea is now a powder keg. With so many military and paramilitary vessels in close quarters, the risk of accidental conflict is enormous. For China, control of these waters is about sovereignty and global ambition. For the US, it's about upholding international order and supporting allies. For the Philippines, it's existential, about territory, resources, and national security. The Philippines is caught between two superpowers, relying on its US alliance while managing a tense relationship with China. The crisis is a test of strategies, China's gray zone tactics versus America's integrated deterrence. The outcome will shape the region's future. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. The next moves could define the balance of power in Asia. The South China Sea crisis has become a global flashpoint. Governments worldwide are watching, alliances are being tested, and the stability of global commerce is at risk. Any escalation could trigger a direct confrontation between nuclear-armed powers. Even if tensions ease, the incident will leave lasting scars, hardening positions and reshaping alliances. The Philippines may draw closer to the US. China may double down on militarization. Every maneuver and statement is part of a high-stakes strategy. The danger is that signals can be misread, turning defensive moves into perceived threats. The region is on a knife's edge, with the margin for error shrinking by the hour. Chinese ships maintain their blockade, American warships patrol, and the world holds its breath. The collision has set off a chain of events with an uncertain outcome. Diplomacy is desperately needed, but the risk of conflict remains real. The future of the Indo-Pacific, and perhaps the world, may hinge on what happens next. The world waits, hoping for peace in these turbulent waters.